Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I'm so happy you're here. So each week we're going to be kind of diving into different topics that are, very relevant in the news. I wanted to kind of talk about Vanessa Gillian, who went missing back in April, and her mom really fought to get an investigation going, which to me doesn't make sense if you're in the military. Like, they should be keeping tabs on you, right? So we're going to kind of dive into just this talk with a woman who was in the military. Her name is Susanna, and she's decided to just keep the video off, and we're just going to hear from her. And right now, we're just going to first talk about just her experience in the military, then we'll kind of go into just Vanessa and just that whole situation there. So again, thank you for tuning in, and let's just dive in. Hi, Susanna. How are you?
Hey Kim, I'm doing really good. It's always good to hear from you again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I know, what was your term in the military and what was your MOS?
So I was in the Army, the U.S. Army, from 2013 until 2018. I did my 4.5 and I got out. I was an Army medic that whole time in an area support medical company.
Okay.
And so basically, I didn't just do like one type of medicine. I did hospital medicine, field medicine. Sometimes I worked with combat units, aviation units.
Okay.
I did a little bit of everything in the military as a medic.
Okay. And how was your experience? Was it positive? Was it negative? Was it kind of just like, a job?
All of the above. I think as a woman in the military, especially, I don't know, like a woman of color, sometimes it really doesn't matter, and sometimes it really did become an issue. I think that I joined because I really wanted to serve, but I also really wanted to get a GI Bill, and I also really wanted to get out of some debt. And so those were my reasons for being there, and then only doing 4.5 years. I got treated like a female, I guess. However you might imagine being a female in a hyper masculine setting is, it's exactly how you think. I definitely had people, I don't know, trying to do favors for me, or definitely had people treating me like, oh, you can't lift that box, so let me come pick it up for you. And it's just like, no, man, like, I got it, thanks.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes you this person that you don't want to be, because as a female, like, I just want to be treated like everybody else. I want to earn my way like everybody else.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be babied or give anyone an excuse to say anything extra about how I don't do this or that like everyone else. So I don't know. It was a little weird because it sort of makes you a standoffish person that you don't want to be. And can I say cuss words on this show?
Yeah, go ahead.
It kind of makes you like the bitch, I guess.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you're like, no, really, I got it. I don't want to be treated different. I don't want anyone to expect favors back.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times that can happen too. And I know just even like going to Kuwait for 9 months, it's a pretty soft deployment. It's not like going to Iraq or Afghanistan in 2006. It's pretty chill, but again, 5% females out there, 95% males out there,
Yeah.
hyper masculine, and the most machismo type of workforce possible.
Yeah. Imagine.
And people definitely start treating you real different when you're just the 5%. So again, kind of just felt like I didn't always get to be myself because I always was having to check people and make sure people stay in their place, especially when they're higher ranking than me.
Yeah.
Men with higher rank want attention too. Like, every men, they all want attention on some level, and
Yeah.
so it can be very demanding because everybody kind of wants you to, I don't know, work with them or hang with them or be their friend or whatever. And
Mm.
It sort of seems like there's always an ulterior motive, and
Yeah.
it can make you feel uncomfortable, and you just really have to have like strong, really, and be vocal about it too. You have to have really strong boundaries and make sure that you never stop saying it, because I don't know, that thin line of going from having a comfortable interaction to an uncomfortable interaction, it's like real thin. And so I don't know, it just always kind of, I don't know, I felt like my experience in the army was, I felt like I was always kind of on edge, always having to protect myself and make sure it doesn't go from like
Mm.
okay to weird. And then,
Yeah.
I don't know how deep you want to go down this rabbit hole, but I mean,
It's up to you. I think a lot of women will identify that have been in the military can identify with what you're saying right now, and it's up to you how you feel comfortable talking about, just have you ever experienced what she might have experienced, or what she experienced, or other women in the movement have experienced as far as assault or harassment. I know for me, being in just even a working environment can prompt creepiness from guys, or creepiness from customers that come in and want to see you, and it just becomes uncomfortable real quick. You try to be nice to the customer, right? And now they take it as, oh well, she likes me, or I can say this really weird thing and she'll be okay with it because she's a barista and I'm a customer, so I'm kind of the boss here, right?
Yeah.
So I can identify with creepy men, or men trying to, think they can do whatever they please. And like you say, you just have to put your foot down and have those boundaries. And I think that's so important, because I'm the same. And, I definitely had to lay that foundation down. So it's up to you how you feel about going into all of that. And I can move on to the next question. It's up to you.
Oh, no, that's okay. I think I can. Oh, okay. So one thing that really bothered me about Vanessa's story was just that her mom knew something was not okay for a little while, and she kind of had questioned her and questioned her and questioned her, and she finally said, somebody sexually assaulted her. And I think her mom may have told her over the phone to make some sort of a report, and Vanessa just didn't want to make a report. And, just after compiling like all of the different like little pieces that went into this, seeing what other people have to say, well, she probably deserved it for trying to ruin somebody's life. And what did you expect? It's the price of joining the good old boys club. And it's just like, sheesh, you'll hear that term a lot, the good old boys club. If you don't know what that is, it's when you usually work in a male dominated workforce, or in a male dominated neighborhood, and usually the majority rules. So a lot of times the good old boy club is like guys that do things that are inappropriate or do things that are illegal, and then the majority protect them through, I don't know, systemic oppression, if you want to call it that, but that's basically what it is.
Wow.
And so like me, for example, I remember there was a few times when I was in Kuwait and things got really uncomfortable, because again, majority rule on the 5%. I guess people felt more comfortable being creepy,
Yeah.
because they felt like, oh, well, it's mostly men, who's going to tell on me, who's going to have her side. And so like men would just feel really comfortable doing stuff that's extremely inappropriate. If I am, assessing a patient that's like being, I don't know, just a regular checkup, and I have to like put my hand on his chest to put the stethoscope up to his chest, he might just say, oh, you're making me get hard right now, you're gonna have to stop touching me. Or men just feel comfortable joking about stuff like that. Another time a guy just like I I don't even know why he put his hand on me, but he just went straight for my butt. Like, he absolutely had like no hesitation with it either. He just felt so confident doing that to me. And he was a frequent flyer, total douche.
Yeah.
I told my head nurse, I was like, look, I'm not going to treat this guy. He just grabbed me and he's creepy. I'm not going to, I don't feel the need to put myself through this. Sorry if he's having, real issues that brought him to the emergency department this time, but I don't feel the need to put myself through that. And so it kind of just makes, like, again, it kind of makes you the bitch. Like, you end up looking some kind of way for refusing treatment to a patient, or looking some kind of way for refusing to work around this colonel that said I'm giving him a hard on, or it makes you some kind of way for doing this and that. But it's like, no, I have to draw a line somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm not going to subject myself to this kind of harassment. And then when you do make a report, there's almost no support whatsoever. So in every company, we have like an equal opportunity or EO officer, and then like a sharp NCO. So like, I guess if you don't know what SHARP is, it's Sexual Harassment and Rape Program, or at least that's what it used to stand for when I was in the military.
Yeah.
And, our SHARP and EO NCOs were like the worst.
Wow.
They were the ones doing all the EO and the Sharpie stuff. Like, there was absolutely no trust. Like, why would I ever go talk to them about something that happened to me, when there's no loyalty, no trust? No one's going to keep my personal business personal. Nobody's going to keep it private, just between us. Like, if I ever did complain about something, they would tell the whole world. Like, might as well just put it on the news, because there was absolutely no sense of, like, I don't know, professionalism. And so, we were in those situations where somebody is just in mind that was like, oh, I'm going to go report this, At no point in time did I even consider it, honestly. Like, I didn't, sometimes I look and think, I didn't even know I could report that, because it didn't even occur to me that I had just been sexually harassed,
Yeah.
You get gaslit so much, and then you sort of forget, like, your own boundaries. Like, wait a minute, should I say something or not? Or should I just smile and keep going? Or what should I do? Like, it gets real murky. And so, yeah, I guess I've had several situations kind of like that. And, it's not only that, but when you see your higher ups, like the commander of an entire post, going through a rape investigation for the 7th time, and he still gets away with it, with witness evidence, with physical semen evidence, and they still get away with it. You sort of build up like this, like, subconscious narrative in your mind, where you just think, oh, well, even if I report this and it goes up to this person and this person and this person, like, it's still going to get swept under the rug, because, I mean, the president of the United States is also a rapist. So, you know what I mean? Like, who am I supposed to call? My congressmen, my representatives? That's ridiculous when someone tells you to write a letter to your congressman. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Getting sexually harassed at work as a barista, and then your boss tells you, well, there's nothing I can do about it, write a letter to your congressman. Like, imagine writing a letter to Governor Abbott or whoever is down there right now. Like, oh no, you don't live in Texas anymore. But
that's insane to me.
It's as insane as it sounds. And the fact that they think this is normal, to just tell soldiers to write a letter to your governor, write a letter to your representative, whatever. And how laughable. And then what do they do about it? Have you ever heard of the guy Fort Lewis and doing something about a rape case, or a representative or congressman, or might as well write a letter to the president. I mean,
Yeah,
have you
that's
ever heard of
insane. I'm
them?
sorry you went through that because I know a lot of women can identify with you, and it's just something's got to be done. Something has got to
Yeah.
be done. Like there's no excuse for leaving people in the military that are committing heinous crimes against their own.
Yeah.
I mean, like that blows my mind. Really?
Yep.
You're gonna let people that disgusting stay and not even stay in the not even stay in the military, stay on the position they're even in, not even get jail time. Like, wow, right? So I'm glad you spoke out, and I'm glad women are speaking out because this has got to stop. This is not okay, right? Like, there's just no reason for a colonel or whatever the heck he was 7 times. Like,
Yeah.
what? What else do you need? You got DNA, you got this, you got that. It's like, dude, like something's got to happen. And unfortunately, this president isn't going to do anything about it. Like the next president, like we need to hold him accountable. Like, yo, like this has got to change. This is not okay, you know? And wow, that's just, to me, that's just mind blowing. And it goes into the next question about how can she disappear from base? Right?
Oh,
Because it just
right.
didn't make sense to me. I mean, tell us about how that process is if somebody is not reported. What happens?
So, I guess starting from the beginning, I think it was a Saturday morning, right, when she came in on her day off.
Mm-hmm.
She was not in uniform. She was wearing civilian clothing. Um, and somebody had texted her from their cell phone, you know, come into the armory. We need you to do whatever. Clean I think it was a 50 cal or something. We need you to clean a weapon on a Saturday. Seriously, come on.
Yeah.
That is not completely unusual. We're called in to do stupid stuff all the time in the military. You know, we joke around a lot. Like, if it makes sense, it wouldn't be the Army, because literally nothing we ever do makes sense. So, I mean, sure, coming in on a Saturday to clean a weapon might make perfect sense. I don't know. That is weird, but it's not. So then, you know, we don't know exactly. They have like a rough estimate of when she went missing. That evening, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, phone and keys were left there. So in my mind, you know, this is like my gears grinding because I was in the military, and I know you cannot leave the armory wide open with all those weapons unsecured. You cannot. So who locked it up? Who saw her phone and keys inside of the armory and no Vanessa Gillen and decided, you know what, I'm just gonna lock this up and whatever, you know, call it a night. Then Monday, when she was supposed to, I don't know, come to whatever they're doing right now because of this whole coronavirus thing, I guess they weren't doing PT formations at the time. So it wasn't like a normal accountability. Like normally the first accountability of the week is Monday morning at 6 a.m. or 6:30, depending on what post you're at. But they supposedly weren't doing PT formations because they were trying to social distance. So there was supposed to be some other form of accountability. That never happened.
Yeah.
And so they were trying to blame it on that. Oh, well, this is unusual for us. We don't usually do accountability this way. And so, you know, that was the excuse. So my thing is like, okay, you've got this missing person who works in the armory. Somebody locked up the armory. Who has those keys? Who has her phone and keys if she doesn't have her phone and keys? And why is she not marked AWOL? Because usually that's the next step. If somebody doesn't show up, they go to the barracks, they go to the place of work, look around, can't find her, she's AWOL. Usually they'll get, depending on the chain of command, they'll give you 2 or 3 formations, and that may be all in one day. Usually they'll give you 24 hours and then you're AWOL. This chick was missing, obviously, a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm really wondering, like, at what point did they decide to just start covering this up? Why did they get rid of all her things? Why did they clear out her room? Who wiped down the blood in the armory? Who called a false accountability of her over the weekend when she was not at work, and then during the week when she was supposed to be at work and she was away without leave? I mean, AWOL doesn't necessarily mean something that she did was wrong. It just means that she's away without leave. So she's missing, period.
Yeah.
And so why didn't they immediately make a police report with the military police, with the civilian police? I mean, she could have been laying unconscious or in a coma in a hospital somewhere. She could have been in a jail cell somewhere.
Yeah.
So why didn't they put out a BOLA, be on the lookout for Vanessa Gillen? You know, this is a young PFC. She'd been barely promoted a couple times in the military. So she was in for probably less than 2 years. And she was young. I think she just turned 21 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, anything could have happened to a young private, especially a female like that in the Killeen area. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Killeen, but that is not a nice neighborhood. You don't want to be walking around by yourself in Killeen. So she's unaccounted for. She's by herself, no keys, no phone, no way to contact her chain of command or emergency services in Killeen. It just seems very odd that they weren't immediately searching for her. And I mean, at that point, the chain of command is going to turn around, and they don't want to look stupid. They don't want to look bad. Maybe they genuinely did not know where she was. Maybe they really did not have anything to do with her. Maybe it really was just the one guy that killed her and that's it. But the entire chain of command chose to just keep it quiet, you know, when they could have been looking for her.
Yeah.
And so that, to me, I mean, it basically is a cover-up, you know?
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, it's just too many inconsistencies. Anytime there's too many inconsistencies, that means somebody's either lying, or there's a conspiracy, or there's something going down. I know people might not agree with that theory, but I completely, I mean, I've been following this since the end of April? I think it was the end of April, the beginning of May, and I was like, okay, this story is not getting the coverage it needs. Like, I'm like, that's bad. Like, why? How does somebody just come up missing on base? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
Like, and that's me as a civilian that doesn't know all the protocols, right? To me, I just figured if you're in the military, I assume they would keep tabs on where the hell you're at. You know what I mean? So I'm like, how did that happen? That doesn't make any sense. Like, what? And her mom is just like the only voice for a long time until this started picking up steam, right? And it's like, I completely agree that there's some type of something being swept under the rug. Somebody could lose their job, whatever, you know?
Yeah, and I think it really just reflects a toxic chain of command, really, is what it sounds like, you know? Because honestly, what is there to hide? If one of your soldiers did something bad to another soldier and she's missing because she's dead, you know, wouldn't you want to just get this over with and shut the case once and for all?
Yeah.
Because the longer this goes on, the more coverage they're just going to get. And that's what they're always going to be remembered for.
Yeah.
You know, it just really, it seems like their chain of command just completely dropped the ball on this one. There's several layers of just, I don't know, lazy leadership maybe.
Yeah.
Didn't want to do the work. Didn't feel like taking accountability of her, didn't feel like looking for her. I don't know what it is, but it just seems like so many layers of leadership just failed her. And that's really sad, because I can't even imagine going through that as a mother looking for your kid, knowing that the worst must have happened. I mean, you know, you don't go.
And entrusting your kid to the government, to the U.S. state, thinking that they would do the right thing, thinking that they would protect your kid. Like, and they can't even do that. They can't even keep track of one soldier. One. Like, that just blows my mind. It's more than just drop the ball. It's beyond incompetence. It's just straight up negligence and just criminal. Honestly, there's criminal activity. Like, that's just how I feel. There's criminal activity going down. The man that shot her, I'm sorry, the man that, I didn't want to go into all the crazy that he did. The one that killed her, he shot himself. Now that's interesting. Yeah. Maybe he's holding onto a secret that he didn't want let out. That's how I see it. Because black men that statistically don't kill themselves. It's like, what is it, like 5%? You know, so if he killed himself, it's not because he didn't want to be on this earth. It might have been because he's holding a secret that he doesn't want out. That's just how I read that whole situation. You know, and I think it's way up. I think it's way up the chain. That's just me. I think it's way up the chain, and that he knows some secrets that could be big, big, big. So maybe Vanessa knew some stuff.
I personally think a lot of people need. What was that? I think we're on like a little bit of a delay here.
Oh, a delay? Oh, okay. Let me see.
It's like 2 seconds.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
That's okay. We're gonna start wrapping up though.
Okay.
So, but thank you, you know, for your thoughts and everything. I mean, this really blows my mind just hearing these stories and just hearing, I mean, just the protocol. The protocol alone is so telling to this whole investigation. And I really hope her family really pushes, because this is the part where they're going to have to jump through hurdles to just get a case. You know, I mean, they have to really push it, because not only for her, but for other women that have suffered this type of treatment in the military, because this is just going to, like, it's going to be a whole can of worms that are going to be opened up because of this case. So, yeah, I mean, I
really hope so.
I really hope so too, because that's just, it's not okay, you know. And I know so many people that are behind this cause. So, but thank you again for joining us, and you know.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me share some of my story and for supporting Vanessa. I mean, honestly, this is just what I want to keep seeing, you know, as a woman from the military that also comes from Texas, and seeing how even just civilian bureaucracy works over there too. Like, it's not just military. I think the civilian workforce should have done something too, but anyhow, you know, I really just want to see change in that direction, you know, and the best thing we can do is keep talking about it. And keep making people feel uncomfortable.
That's right. Absolutely. And I am more than on board for that cause. I like making people uncomfortable. You
My
know?
specialty.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you for joining everyone, you know, for the Black and Rowdy Show. Stay tuned next week, and we'll see you then. Bye.